Clay Travis joins us right now, the founder of OutKick.com. All right, so the speculation is now officially over. He says Tom Brady has Clay, I'm retiring again for good, because last time he retired and then unretired.
This one in the video that he released just about 20 minutes ago, it feels different than the way the last retirement last year leaked.
Yep.
I'm frankly surprised, guys. And you mentioned, yes, his parents were at that final game in Tampa Bay when they lost in the postseason. He did not necessarily play very well, but in his final season, the Bucs certainly didn't have the season that they had been hoping for. I'm surprised primarily because we all know the divorce with Giselle happened, and Tom Brady is a creature of habit, and suddenly he's going to have a completely different life now than he had just a year ago, right? Where he's still with Giselle, they live together, they've got the kids. It seemed like his decision to unretire and come back was a precipitating factor in that divorce. Certainly, we have no idea for sure. But as a creature of habit, I am surprised that he would decide, because of the divorce happening and because of the connection it seemed to have to coming back to football and causing it, that now that he is divorced, he would walk away. He still played at a high level. He's still got things left in the tank. But remember, years ago, he started talking about the goal being to play until he's 45 years old. He got there. And now, if he does stay retired, the question becomes, is he the greatest team sport athlete of all time?
You know,
Michael
is that
Jordan
even a question?
is up there. Well, I think you could argue with Michael Jordan, whether Michael Jordan is that guy, 6 championships.
Just remember at 38 what Jordan was, Clay. Clay, remember at 38 what Jordan was? He could barely play with the Wizards.
Correct. Now, the difference, of course, is the quarterback position doesn't require the same level of athleticism that basketball necessarily would. So there's no one who has played at 45 years old at a high level of basketball. You're right in the comparison there. But in terms of dominance, Jordan 6 titles in 8 years, Brady 10 Super Bowls, 7 titles. I think the answer is Brady. Certainly, Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. And this guy's with the Super Bowl coming up on Fox. Remember, Brady is now theoretically going to work for Fox. Maybe he has a role at the Super Bowl. Who knows? Yeah. But it certainly will accelerate that comparison between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes at 27 years old.
Clay, if any of us retire or anyone watching retires, usually most people stay at home. They don't have anything to do. They want to travel. In this situation, he still gets to have his hand in the game of football. So it's not as extreme as it might be for many people who are making that tough decision. I want to play this again. Let's play the retirement announcement. And you said at the top of the interview that this one's different than the one a year ago. So let's play it for the viewers and then tell us why you think that. Watch this.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. I think you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
And
so Clay, the other thing is
a little emotional too.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind too, he was so ticked off that someone leaked out that he's retiring. He wouldn't confirm it for a while. Remember, that really ticked him off, and maybe played a role in him coming back.
Yeah, look, I think there's a total difference in the way that this news broke compared to the news breaking last year. And it feels very simplistic, for lack of a better way to describe it, to wake up on this Wednesday and see that Brady has posted a video. It looks like he's on the beach somewhere, maybe down in South Florida. And it reminds me of kind of the way, if you're a big sports fan, LeBron announced that he was going to Miami, and it was a cluster for everybody out there who remembers that. I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
Right.
And it was so widely panned that then the next time he made his free agency decision, he did this great essay in consultation with Sports Illustrated and went back to Cleveland. And it's almost like Tom Brady got a dry run on how not to do a retirement announcement. And this one is the one that he wishes he had been able to put out himself, where he controls the messaging, where he has the ability to speak directly with his fans. And certainly I imagine there are people all over the country waking up this morning, watching us, seeing this news, putting on their social media feeds, who were very surprised because this really did drop in out of nowhere, as opposed to the massive celebration and discussion that was broken by others surrounding Brady's prior retirement.
And you know, Clay, what's interesting is, so he did not get that final Super Bowl ring. In the movie, he would have gotten the Super Bowl ring in 10 days. But that didn't work out. You've got to wonder whether or not he knew that this was going to be the year he bows out. Whether we win or lose. But then again, if he would have won, it would have been hard to walk away from.
Yeah, you know, it's a good point, because we do have this sort of Hollywood ending love affair, and it's very rare, right? John Elway won 2 straight Super Bowls and decided, hey, guys, I'm out. That idea of winning and then riding off into the sunset doesn't happen very often in the world of sports. But Brady's team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, did win the NFC South. They did host a home playoff game. His final time on the field was jogging off, as you guys mentioned, with his family there on the left side as he entered the tunnel, and he kept his jersey, if I remember correctly, as you know, Aaron Rodgers did as well. He's another legendary quarterback that's having to make decisions about his future, although Aaron Rodgers, I believe, 39 as opposed to Brady being 45, and it appears Aaron Rodgers is going to continue. But, you know, a lot of guys say they want to go out on the shield, so to speak, which is a reference, obviously, to Gladiator and the way that Gladiator's careers would end. For Brady to win his division, to play a home playoff game and lose, they lost his final 2 home playoff games. Remember, last year, the Bucs had a very good season, lost at home to the Rams, who went on to win the Super Bowl in a wild game. This year, the Bucs did not have a good year. And, you know, there was a lot of anger in Brady this year. If you watched him on the field, he's always been a fiery competitor, but he even talked about it. The challenge of getting divorced, I think, weighed on him on the field in a way that his personal life hasn't necessarily connected to his on-field results. And he just didn't seem to have the same joy in the game itself. And I wonder in the back of my mind whether, you know, he left training camp, I believe, for 11 days in the middle of the season and said he was just dealing with difficulties in his marriage. I wonder how much that factored in here, but still, greatest quarterback of all time, greatest, again, you can argue it between he and Jordan, greatest team sport athlete of all time. We're going to miss him if we're big sports fans.
Absolutely, and you look at his stats, he was actually better in his 40s than he was in his 20s, which is stunning. Statistically. Clay, we'll put it in perspective, and of course I'll catch up with you at the Super Bowl. We'll be down there. You'll be down there with OutKick and everything else. Clay,
maybe
Travis.
with Brady too. He's a Fox employee now. We'll see what happens.
But no, Clay, I'm going to book you. If you want to bring Brady, that's up to you. All right, because you're enough for me.
Staying with Gronk.
All right.
Clay, please put his office right next to mine.
Y'all.
Right, yeah.
Kick Brian out of his.
Hey, good luck with that. There's going to be a lot of women who are being very happy with that choice.
Yeah. We'll put him in the OutKick wing.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.